Now that we've got our swan drawn, we're going to use various tools to select and edit the paths and anchor points. So I'm going to get my direct selection tool, that's the white arrow tool, and select the swan path. And now that I've done that, that shows me all the various anchor points and some of the control handles. I'm going to click the anchor point that was labeled K to select it, and then I'm just going to drag the anchor point to the left a little bit, just to kind of change the dimension of that curve. And this is kind of what we do in Illustrator. We seldom get things exactly the way we want them the first time. And so these editing tools are very useful to finesse our drawings. Now I'm going to move the pointer over the part of the path between points A and K. And when I see the cursor change to that little kind of curved icon, I'm going to click, hold, and drag the path over a little bit just to change the curve. And you can see how that changed everything. Now I'm going to open up the Layers panel and click the eye icon to hide the bird template, so that doesn't get in the way. So that template is hidden now. And with the direct selection tool, I'm going to click the swan path to select it. And now we'll delete some anchor points to kind of simplify our path. So I'll click the path, and then I'm going to select the pen tool, and I'm going to move the pointer over the anchor point in the tail to remove that. And when I get my pen tool, and I hover over the anchor point, that kind of second part of the tail, it will change to a minus sign. There's the minus sign. I'll move away. There's the minus sign. So that means if I click that anchor point, it's going to be deleted. So I click the point, and that deleted it, and that makes the tail look a little bit better. Now I'm going to press the Command key or the Control key on the Windows to temporarily select the Direct Selection tool. And I'm going to move my cursor over one of the anchor points. So there, I'm going to move my cursor over this particular anchor point. And I'll click, hold, and drag to the left a little bit. Maybe down. Just move it around a little bit so you can see how it works. And then that brought up the control handles, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag one of those control handles again to change the curve a little bit. You can see how that works as I move the control handles. I'll release the Control or Command key to go back to the pen tool, and then I'm going to move my cursor over to the right of the bottom anchor point a little bit. And when I see the cursor change to a plus sign, that means I'm going to add an anchor point. So you can see when I click, it adds another anchor point. Now we'll work on converting between smooth points and corner points. I'm going to get my direct selection tool, and with that last anchor point still selected, I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select the anchor point to the left of it, just directly to the left, which was the A point in the template. So now I've got both of those anchor points selected. I'm going to open up the Properties panel, and In the Convert area, I'm going to click the icon that says Convert Selected Anchor Points to Corner. I'm going to click that button. And you can see that it changed the direction of the curve a little bit because those are now corner points instead of smooth points. And then in the Align area, I'm going to click the vertical Align Bottom to align those two anchor points. And then I'll drag one of the anchor points up a little bit to move both of those anchor points. So since both those anchor points are selected, that moved them both at the same time. I'll just click away from the artwork to deselect it. Now we'll work with the anchor point tool, and that can convert anchor points between smooth and corner points. So I'm going to go up to the pen tool, and I'm going to click on the pen tool and hold it down to select the anchor point tool. And we can use that to remove control handles and direction handles from anchor points. So I'm going to move the pointer over to the swan's head, to the left of that straight line, that anchor point. I forget what number or what letter that point was, but I'm going to move over to that left anchor point on the swan's head, and I'm just going to click there. And that brought up the curve and the control handles, and I'm just going to click, hold, and drag up a little bit to realign the curve to the neck. And then I'm going to click, hold, and drag the bottom control handle down a little bit to lengthen the curve that was formerly a straight line. So I'll get my direct selection tool, and now I'm going to click, hold, and drag that control handle down a little bit to lengthen that curve. And notice how it's just changing the curve there in the bottom. It's not changing the part of the curve at the neck. It will if I move the control handle left or right, but as I drag down, it's only affecting that bottom part of the curve. And now I'll get the anchor point tool again, and I'm going to do that to the anchor point to the right that we just edited. So there, I'll move the anchor point tool over that anchor point and click, hold, and drag down to reset that curve back to where it was. It's just kind of the way the anchor point tool works. Now I'll get my direct selection tool, and just like I did before, I'm going to drag that bottom control handle around to kind of finesse the curve of that head of the swan. So that's looking better. It's now got more of a head instead of just that straight line between those two anchor points. Now I'm going to open up the Layers panel, and I'm going to click the Visibility column for the layer named Wing to show the layer contents. There's the wing layer. I'll just click that icon there, and there is the wing. I'll click away to deselect everything, but I'll get the direct selection tool and click on that wing path. And what we've got now here on the right-hand side of the wing is a curved path, and we want to convert it to a corner. And there is an anchor point just to the right of that. I'll click the path with the direct selection tool. And now we can see the anchor points. And I'll hover my cursor to the right. I'll get the anchor point tool. And I'll move my cursor over and find that anchor point that's right there. And click. And that converted it from a curve to a corner. So that I'll do that again. Click on that anchor point, and that changed it from a curved to a corner anchor point. And I'll move it over. I'll click that. I'll get the direct selection tool, and I'll move that anchor point so that it aligns better with the neck and the body. It fits so that it will fit right in the kind of corner of the neck and the body. So that's where the anchor point should be, so that looks a little bit nicer. And I can use the direct selection tool to make any other changes I might want to. I can use it to select one of the control handles and change the shape of the wing a little bit if I'd like. So that's the way we can use editing tools to finesse our drawing and make it look a little bit better. And now in the Layers panel, I'm going to click on the Artwork layer to make sure that that's ready for the next part of the lesson. So that's some of the ways we can use editing tools to really finesse our curves and anchor points so that our drawing looks much, much better.